Imagine building a city from the ground up, right in the middle of the desert. But this isn't just any city. This one is being designed to survive a digital apocalypse that hasn't even happened yet. We're talking about NEOM, a project that's trying to build the world's first city that's immune to a future quantum threat. So let's dive in and see how they're planning to pull this off.
See, NEOM isn't just a smart city. The goal is way bigger. They want it to be a cognitive city. And what that means is the entire city literally thinks. It has a digital brain, which they call autonomous, and its job is to anticipate what people need before they even know they need it. It's designed to manage everything from the power grid to self-driving cars, all in one seamless thinking layer.
I mean, it's an absolutely breathtaking vision of the future, right? But here's the billion-dollar question. What happens if the very foundation of that digital brain is built on a technology that's basically set to self-destruct? What if its entire security system is a ticking time bomb?
So here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll dig into the cognitive city concept. Then, we'll get into this thing called the Q-Day threat. After that, we'll look at the totally new kind of security they're designing, this idea of digital immunity, and finally, what it all means for the future of, well, every city. All right, first things first. Let's really get a handle on what makes a cognitive city so different. We're talking about a place where the line between the digital world and the physical world is completely blurred. At the heart of it all is this single digital layer, autonomous. You can think of it as the city's central nervous system, and it's in charge of the stuff you absolutely cannot afford to fail. How your power gets distributed, where your water comes from, how all the autonomous cars and drones move around, and even your healthcare and digital identity. And the only way this whole thing works is because of a non-stop conversation between millions of different devices. We're talking sensors, drones, vehicles, control systems, all of them chattering back and forth constantly. The sheer scale of it is what makes the city cognitive. But you know what? That's also its greatest weakness.
And this is the part you really need to get. In a city like NEOM, a hack isn't just about someone stealing your credit card info. A data breach could mean a physical breakdown. It can mean traffic grinding to a halt, water systems shutting down, or the power grid going dark. The data isn't just data, it's what makes the physical city run.
And that massive vulnerability, it has a name. It's a future event that cybersecurity experts call Q-Day. And this isn't some sci-fi fantasy. It's a known, inevitable failure point that NEOM is trying to design around from day one.
So what exactly is Q-Day? Well, it's the moment a quantum computer becomes powerful enough to basically shatter the locks on everything we protect online. We're talking bank accounts, state secrets, and yeah, all the communications holding a cognitive city together.
Think about it like this. Our entire digital security system is built on math problems that are just really hard for today's computers to solve. But for a powerful quantum computer, it's like asking it to solve 2 + 2. And that means the failure won't be slow. It's a cliff edge. One day, everything's locked down tight. The next day, it's all wide open.
And this is why it's a problem right now, not in some distant future. It's because of a strategy that's already happening called harvest now, decrypt later. Basically, adversaries are stealing and stockpiling huge amounts of encrypted data today. They can't read it yet, but they're just waiting for Q-Day, when they can suddenly unlock decades of secrets all at once.
So, how in the world do you build a city that can actually survive that? Well, this isn't something you can just patch later. You have to go back to the drawing board and completely redesign security from the ground up. The old way we do things, public key cryptography, relies on those math problems that quantum computers will just tear through. But the NEOM way, it's completely different. It's built on something called symmetric key agreement. And instead of creating keys based on those vulnerable math problems, it's like two devices magically come up with the exact same secret key at the exact same time without ever actually sending it to each other. So you're probably wondering, how on earth did they do that? Well, this is where it gets really cool. Their partner, Arqit, uses satellites to beam down identical random numbers to two different devices at the same time. This means the encryption keys themselves are never sent across the network, so they can't be stolen. On top of that, they can create a brand new, totally disposable key for every single transaction. Okay, so this new technology isn't just about a stronger lock for the door. It allows for a totally new way of thinking about security, something they call digital immunity. The whole philosophy is to act more like a biological immune system. Instead of one giant, unbreakable wall that, if breached, means game over, you have a system where trust is never assumed. It's constantly being checked and reestablished for every little interaction.
It's basically the ultimate zero-trust architecture, but for an entire city.
And this leads to my favorite quote about this whole concept. In a system like this, security failures do not compound over time, they expire.
For a city with millions of autonomous machines, this is an absolute game changer. It means they avoid what's called cryptographic debt. That's the enormous risk you take on when you build everything with today's encryption, knowing you'll have to rip it all out and replace it before Q-Day hits.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a second. What's the big picture payoff here? Why go to all this trouble to build the world's first post-quantum city? Well, it's about a lot more than just stopping hackers. This is a strategic power play. This isn't just about playing defense. It's a strategy for something called quantum sovereignty. That's the ability for a country to guarantee, for the long term, the privacy and integrity of all the data and communications inside its borders.
And having that kind of sovereignty, wow, that turns into a massive competitive edge. It means companies will want to invest there because their secrets are safe for decades. It means the nation's critical infrastructure is truly protected. Essentially, you make digital trust itself a valuable, tradable asset.
And that really brings us back to the most important point of all. For the people building NEOM, this isn't an IT problem they'll solve down the line. It's a fundamental, day-one infrastructure decision, just as critical as where to put the roads and the power plants.
Which leaves us with the final, huge question. NEOM has the incredible advantage of starting with a totally blank slate. But as quantum computers get closer and closer to reality, will every city, old and new, have to find a way to become post-quantum by design just to survive?